Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we are doing a built model review. We are taking a look at my built Fujimi Old Mini in 1/24th scale. Now I did do an unboxing video for this a couple of weeks ago, so that's available on the channel if you want to take a look at that. Essentially the Fujimi kit includes two variants that you can build. You can build the Rover Mini 1.3i, which was a car that was produced in the 1990s. Or you can build this earlier version from the 1980s, which they call the 25th Anniversary Edition. So that would be the 1984 model, which I believe was a special edition of Minis in 1984. So I've gone for the earlier version. I haven't created the 25th Anniversary version with the decals and so on, but it uses the parts from that version. It's, you know, in terms of the parts used and so on, it's no different. It's just the colour which I've chosen differently from the anniversary model. So what do I want to say about this? Well, it is a curbside model, so no opening bonnet or hood, no engine detail other than just a suggestion of the front wheel drive sump and suspension layout under the front. Apart from that, nothing else going on engine detail wise. That does of course mean that everything at the front fits very nicely together. Which is important on a model this small. You wouldn't want a badly fitting bonnet there, for example. It has a lot of separate parts for detail, which I'll come on to in a moment. Given that it's a fairly old kit, I think, or its original incarnation, I think it goes back a few years. It's really not bad from that point of view. Not class leading, but really not bad. It also has this very nice set of wheels. These again are the ones for the 1984 version. The Rover version has a different set of wheels which also come with the car, and nice rubber-like tyres which suit the car really well. I think they're a bit wider than the ones on the 1984 car, but that's okay. That's the sort of thing which an owner could have fitted themselves at some point later on. So, this being a 1984 Mini, this was built under the Austin Rover years. If you're familiar with British car manufacturers, there were a number of manufacturers like Austin and Morris, which were part of British Motor Corporation back in the 50s and 60s. They then joined up again with Triumph, Rover, Jaguar and MG and others to form British Leyland, which is a name that can still send shudders down the spines of people not only in Britain but across the world. And then finally certain elements of that company became Austin Rover in, I would think, round about 81 or 2 would be my guess. And this is from that era, so there was no more Austin, there was no more Morris. Rover soldiered on as a brand, and in fact I think that was the remaining part of that whole brand at the end of it, just Rover. Anyway, that's enough of a history lesson. What do you get in the box here? What comes with the kit? It's really nicely detailed. So having a look here, I'll just pick it up and you can see by the size of my hand that the car is really small. So you've got the nice separate chrome headlamp cans and clear lenses. They really look a treat. The indicators there as well are separate pieces. You have to tint those amber. That nice grille, which really does look the part, that comes chromed. So for this version you need to paint that a matte or satin black. Got the Mini badge on the front of the bonnet there in the centre. Again, with this being a 1980s version, they were trying to update the Mini and make it look current against its competition. For example, the Ford Fiesta, Renault 5, Vauxhall Nova, cars like that. So they sort of used some dress up, a bit of smoke and mirrors. So that's still the same old steel bumper on the front there as it was years earlier, but they started painting it black to go with the black grille, to go with the smart looking black wheel flares, and the black window surround trim, black mirrors, black red bumper, black boot handle, etc. It's the 1980s, chrome is out and black is in, and Austin Rover were going to make sure that the Mini stayed up to date in that sense. So yeah, separate parts, yeah, the grille, headlamp assemblies, the front indicators, the rear lamp clusters, each one is a clear part which needs to be painted red, amber, and then with the reversing lights being left clear. Also, again, great attention to detail from Fujimi. It comes with a separately fitted rear fog lamp dangling under the rear bumper there. That became a legal requirement on cars in the UK I'm not sure when. It probably was the 1980s actually, or if not the 1970s. In terms of the finish for this one, as I said, I didn't paint it silver as they suggest you do for the 25th anniversary version. I went to a local hardware shop and found in their spray paint range some original Rover colours, including this one, Rover Champagne Gold Metallic, which wasn't a common option on Minis. I think you would probably have to order it, you'd probably have to ask for that, but it was available on Minis. It's mainly on bigger cars like the Rover 3500. But it's a proper Rover colour, and I think it really looks the part. I just primed it with white plastic primer, gave it a couple of nice even coats of Rover Champagne Gold, and then went over it with some lacquer. I then gave it a little wet sand and a polish with some paint restorer because the lacquer had turned out quite mottled, and it's really not perfect now, but it's okay. I mean, look at the, try and get an idea of the sheen on that roof. You know, it's decent enough. Not too bad. I also gave it a little coat of model wax from one of my local suppliers, Kent Models. They produce a model wax together with the cloth and microfiber buffing cloth to apply it with, which looks pretty good. One thing which you're seeing here, which is not included with the kit, were the number plates. The ones in the kit had an R prefix, which I think would date to something like 1998, which would be right for the Rover version, Rover Mini, which you can build from the kit, but would be wrong for this. So I actually, and also they did the rear plate in the same white with black letters as the front, which is incorrect for a UK car. So I had the Italeri Ford Transit Police Van kit unstarted, and it happened to have some number plates with the correct letter. The prefix B is 1984 to 85. So that's just right. That was a stroke of luck. They're also in just the right font for that era as well, so they're really, really accurate. And yeah, they look big because the Mini is very, very small, basically. That's pretty much it on the build. Yeah, I think that's everything there is to say about it. And if you're interested in Minis or want to know more about them, then of course the World Wide Web is where you need to be. You'll find everything you want there. But in terms of the evolution of the Mini, this will give you some idea. So this on the left hand side is the Revel Mini Cooper. I think that's a 1968 Cooper. I can't remember. I think it is. But that's a much earlier version, and yeah, a number of things there which are different. So for example, lack of mirrors on that particular car, chrome door handles instead of black. This has got a body shell with hinges on the exterior, and you can't make it out, but there's a sliding pane in the window there. It doesn't have wind up and down windows, let alone electric. They don't even wind up and down. You'd slide the window back and forth. Whereas on the later car, you get wind up windows with the DIY Keep Fit window crank system installed. The grille, of course, is different as well. You can see the different grills there. I mean, otherwise, really, the body shell didn't change a lot in all that time. It really didn't change. I think that'll be something to do with the genius of Alec Isagonis' original design, plus the perilous state of investment in British car production throughout much of the 20th century as well, which also could have been responsible for it not changing very much. So there we go, a nice little side-by-side there that gives you a good idea of evolution of Minis from the 1960s at least through to the 80s, but of course the story didn't end there, and they continued with that model right through to the late 90s until the BMW takeover and the introduction of the new Mini, which we all are familiar with now. That's it. Fujimi's old Mini in 1/24 scale. Thanks very much for watching.